I'm Liam from CryptoSlate, and today with me I have Michael Pearl, the CEO of Kirobo. Thanks for being here, Michael. First of all,
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
so the first thing is, someone reached out from your team after an article I wrote about Vitalik and how he still does test transactions when he's sending large amounts of ether. So go on. I've been told that Kirobo solves this problem. How does that happen?
So when I read this, and obviously when I read tweets and Discord chats of people that have basically the same problem, it's funny to see Vitalik, who is like the godfather of crypto for the most of it, or of DeFi for sure. You see that in this age of innovation, he still needs to do these small transactions to make sure that his money reaches its destination. It's mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
So our solution is very straightforward. Basically, if I would have the chance to talk to Vitalik, I would just say, stop doing that. There's a much better way. We have a service, an app called Safe Transfer, which is very straightforward, very easy to use. Basically, what it does, it allows you to send crypto, and if you're sending it to the wrong address, or if you're sending it to an exchange that doesn't support your token, and any other error that you might have, whether it's a hack or a phishing scam, all those problems can be solved by retrieving your money back, and your money will never reach a wrong destination unless, of course, you gave the passcode. So the way it works is that we create a unique transaction that is passcode protected. You send the money, you enter the wallet address, you send the crypto, and you add a unique passcode that you create or you can generate. And then the person on the other side connects to the system, sees that there's a transaction pending, gets the password from you, maybe through another channel, it's always advisable, and receives the crypto. Now, if you send it to the wrong address or to an exchange and so on and so forth, like I mentioned, obviously the person from the other side, even if it's the wrong person, he will not have this passcode, and the money essentially will be pending, and you can just withdraw it. You can just undo the transaction, and the money goes back to your wallet like nothing happened.
Okay, so for it to work with exchanges would have to sign up to a system and implement it into their sort of API, would they?
Yeah. So currently, we're working with almost all the Ethereum wallets, whether it's MetaMask or hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor, and all the Wallet Connect wallets and so on.
Hmm.
With respect to exchanges, yeah, we're now in talks with several exchanges to implement this. The solution started off from DeFi, so
Hmm.
naturally, wallets were our main audience,
Yeah.
but we're also looking into integrating with exchanges.
Okay. So doesn't this mess with the sort of the sanctity of the blockchain? Like you're talking about undoing transactions on a blockchain. Surely that goes against everything that sort of was in Satoshi's original white paper, no?
So it's important to stress that on the technical level, we don't reverse the blockchain. The
Hmm.
blockchain is the blockchain, and it works the way it works. We work with smart contracts that allow us to create. Some people refer to it as an escrow. You can call it that
Hmm.
way, even though technically it's something different. But think about it as an escrow, okay? Where you put your money on the blockchain. The person on the other side knows that you're good for it. He can withdraw the money, and again, if something goes wrong, you can just cancel the transaction. So I think it's a beautiful way of going around, not tricking and not reversing the blockchain,
Hmm.
but actually using the blockchain to create a safer environment for users.
It sounds really interesting. It's a definitely a novel approach. Um, does this create any sort of third party risk between the user and Kirobo though?
No, the interface is very straightforward. You can connect, as I said, let's say with your MetaMask. You just go on kirobo.io, you go to the Safe Transfer app. Currently, it works on web and mobile, and you just connect your wallet just like you do with Uniswap, for instance. And there you go. You can start. And by the way, the person on the other side, the recipient, does the exact same thing. So you don't have to download anything. You don't have to go through third parties. Very, very simple to use.
So, but there would be a risk in, for instance, if I've sent a transaction and then the Kirobo website goes down, I won't be able to complete the transaction.
It's a very good question, Leo. So the way it works is basically it's a hybrid system. For the most of it, the system is decentralized.
Okay.
The only part which goes through Kirobo is the authentication of the passcode. So that's the only place where we need to go through Kirobo because we don't want to have your passcode on the blockchain, which is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you sent a transaction to me. I didn't get the transaction yet. It's pending right now. And Kiroba server goes down, God forbid.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you can do, you can still withdraw the crypto back to you.
Mm-hmm.
The transaction cannot be completed in a sense that it will now not go to the other side,
Yeah.
but the money is not gonna get lost. Okay,
Yeah.
you can still get your money back.
Yeah. You just won't be able to complete the transaction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on that basis, something that I'm getting more and more interested with at the moment, especially in the sort of on the Ethereum blockchain, is how centralized it is along AWS. So, what sort of server infrastructure? Just out of interest, if you're able to say, is your website based on? Is it AWS?
As far as I know, yes. I'm not the techie, but as far as I know, it is. But I have to say, Liam, the safe transfer was our first product,
Okay.
and now we're doing things that are none less amazing and innovative. So again, it's up to you if you want to switch to talk about the main dish, so to speak. We can do that.
So, is this the Liquid wallet?
The Liquid Vault, yeah.
Liquid vaults, yeah. So it's just interesting because I want to make sure that we're sort of covering the different angles for when we've got someone like yourself on some of the bigger issues that we feel like. For instance, like I say, a lot of Ethereum is centralized around AWS, so dApps like yourself, whilst Ethereum may be decentralized, companies like yourself basing their entire ecosystem on AWS means that there is a bit of a bottleneck should AWS go down. So it's just interesting to see if you've thought of that in sort of your roadmap of ways to actually decentralize your own tech infrastructure.
So I agree with you that AWS can be a bottleneck, and nothing is for sure right now. With everything that's going on in the world, and the deglobalization that we have right now, no one knows what's going to happen. So it is a concern. But I have to say again, all our products, except for the safe transfer, don't require any interference of a server.
Okay. Let's jump onto that then. So that's an interesting point. So tell us about this, the Liquid Vault. Is this where the inheritance product lives?
Yeah.
So I saw the video for that. That was a bit close to the mark. It made me laugh, but who came up with the idea for that video?
So we have an in-house video team. We have a colleague of mine his name is Ray. He's a copywriter, a super talented person, and he comes up with those ideas for the commercials and for the tutorials, and more are coming.
Yeah, I feel like it's had a decent amount of traction, but I do feel that you should probably keep plugging that away on Reddit. One day that will make the front page because it's quite close to the mark that I think you'll get people enjoying it and also equally disliking it, which is kind of what you want. You want the controversy. So explain to me what the Liquid Vault is then.
Sure. So the Liquid Vault is essentially, let's talk about the Liquid Vault's end game, and then I'm going to jump into all the features, and I'm going to give you the entire structure.
Sure.
So the Liquid Vault aims, and I know it's an ambitious aim, but we aim to have it as a one-stop shop for DeFi and for the metaverse. Basically, creating an infrastructure that is going to be comprehensive and ready for the future of Web3. And we're creating the infrastructure as we speak, even though we don't really know how the metaverse is going to look like, but we already have some hints. And the idea is to provide you with a safety net for everything that you do on DeFi. And we basically mapped all the risks and try to understand, what can cause you to lose your money, whether it's sending your crypto to the wrong address, whether it's losing it because you compromised your seed phrase or lost your hardware wallet, whether, God forbid, if somebody died and is not able to inheritance crypto, and it's something that is
Mhm.
becoming very acute right now because a lot of people are holding their 401k IRA in crypto.
Mhm.
Most of them, and I can tell you that for sure, most of them don't make the proper arrangements
Yeah.
around this.
Mhm.
And by the way, speaking of seed phrases, Vitalik mentioned, that he still has to send this test transaction. People still store their seed phrase, and I'm talking about even savvy crypto traders, on a piece of paper. So some engrave it on a metal plate or some other methods. But you have to admit that it's ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
That's the way that we keep the keys to our crypto.
Yeah.
And also, in the age of metaverse, your wallet is your identity. So
Mhm.
it's not only about the assets, right? It's also your access to everything, to
Yeah.
your favorite game, to the ownership of your house, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So the Liquid Vault, at the moment, it was launched in December. It's basically an on-chain wallet, meaning that it lives on-chain. It's a set of smart contracts that comprise the Liquid Vault,
Mhm.
and it allows us to do much, much more than with your regular wallet, right? So, for instance, we can create a backup, meaning that we can back up your assets and your identity, because the Liquid Vault allows you to create an alternative wallet that can serve as a login to the vault. The way it
Okay.
works is that, for instance, you take your MetaMask and you create a unique version of the Liquid Vault. But then you can ask, okay, so if my MetaMask, if I compromise the seed phrase of the MetaMask, then I cannot access the Liquid Vault. But what the system allows you to do is to create a separate alternative wallet that can serve as a backup, and it's timer based. So you can say, listen, if this wallet is inactive for, let's say, 3 months, switch to this one. And obviously, that can be also a ledger that you can store anywhere. So there you go, you have backup. Um, Another feature that we're about to release very soon is the inheritance feature. Again, a very important issue right now that people don't really realize because we're
Mhm.
all young and think that we're invincible.
Mhm.
But essentially, the way it works, it's also timer based. So you set up a timer and you say, okay, if this wallet is inactive and this one is inactive, so let's say in a year, start sending crypto in accordance to what I say. So you're sending 50% to your wife, 10% to your child, 10% to charity, everything to Coinbase, whatever you want. You choose, and you choose the errors, and obviously the errors are wallet addresses.
Mhm.
And and I just want to stress that that's only the beginning,
Yeah.
because those are the basic features that we want to create to have people feel more comfortable and to get the masses into DeFi and into Web3. And then we have a range of other products that we're going to offer on top of the Liquid Vault. And we're going to work with a lot of third parties as well that are going to develop on top of this technology. And we're going to offer more security in the field of trading, in the fields of everything DeFi, the way you interact with staking, and obviously the metaverse is also of interest for us. So we're working on
Mhm.
a lot of NFT solutions as well. So it's
Mhm.
it's uh it's a
It's
very, very big roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. What you're saying is that you're essentially taking one value proposition of how can we reduce risk, and you're focusing on that, and then you're creating products that always come back to that one problem that you're trying to solve. Is it? Would you say that's fair?
Yeah. We have a very basic philosophy that says that DeFi and the metaverse as a derivative of DeFi is just not safe enough to attract the masses.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have people using the system, and even if you're a risk-loving person, nobody loves losing money, right?
No.
You're willing to take the risk, but you don't want to bear the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to take crypto and DeFi from a very nascent stage that it is right now,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what we remember with internet in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
get it to a very seamless and safe system that will allow you basically to interact and, let's say, work as simple as you do with your online bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
We rant about our banks so much, but essentially they do a good job in terms of providing us the services that we need, and for the most of it we trust them, right? We have a lot of other concerns about their policies, but for the most of it, if I want to send money to you, I'm not going to think twice, that my crypto is not going to reach its destination.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was sending some money to it's a bit like BlockFi. It's a company called Ziggler in the UK. I'll still, if I'm sending a lot of money, I'll still send £100 first, even with fiat. Like, I think maybe I'm risk averse, but I do the same thing. Even though I know I've got the right account and bank details, I still test it. So I think it's. You go.
Yeah, I just want to say, with respect to the traditional finance, the problem is that we need to trust the people. With respect to DeFi, let's say, the problem is that we have to trust the blockchain, which we should trust the blockchain, right? You mentioned Satoshi. I do believe in this philosophy, but the infrastructure needs to be such that you will be able to trust it,
Yeah.
right? So we want to combine to get both best of both worlds, to have the same trust that you have with, let's say, institutions, but for the technology to back that up and not, just legal frameworks.
I mean, it's interesting talking about sort of the human trust in a kind of a digitally trustless ecosystem of technology. But I mean, I see your point there. So, I mean, one of my sort of last questions here was to actually talk on that. So, do you feel that your products build towards what the crypto community holds most valuable, sort of the decentralization, the sanctity of the blockchain, security of private keys, or do you feel that there needs to be a different direction of where the community is currently going?
I want to take like 30 seconds to explain the technology, and then all the bricks are going to fall into place, and you'll understand the decentralized structure that we have. Okay, everything that I mentioned with respect to the liquid vault, it's very cool in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
But what's even cooler than that is what's coming, because all this is based on an underlying technology that is called conditional transactions. Okay, unique transaction. It's a unique technology that we created and patented.
Oh
We
wow.
actually received 2 grants from the Israeli Innovation Authority for doing that. And the technology works the following way: you sign a transaction now for something that's going to happen in the future based on a certain condition. Okay, so to give you an example, the backup, you sign a transaction now that its function is to shift ownership of the liquid vault from this wallet to that wallet.
Cool.
And the condition is that the timer lapses and this wallet is inactive. Okay, imagine that you can condition this on basically anything. If you put oracles in play, you can condition this on token price. You can condition this on, I don't know, sports results, voting results. You can even condition this on an NFT. So, for instance, we can create, and we already have that technology in place. We can create a trust fund where you say, "I'm going to give my son $1 million or daughter $1 million if he or she graduates from Harvard." And you know that where I'm going with that, the diplomas and other types of documents are going to be NFT'd. So, and we have the way to authenticate this. Obviously, we need Harvard or all the other,
Yeah. To
physical
get on board.
institutions
Yeah.
to get on board, but we will be able to verify that, and the person gets his money on the other side. But more immediate use cases are, for instance, creating limit orders on DeFi. Imagine that, something that is missing and that is quite trivial on CeFi. We have the ability to create that, and even multi-layered limit orders. So let's say I say, if Ethereum goes to 4,000, sell, buy USDT. If all of a sudden BNB goes up, buy BNB, and you can create several layers. But all this technology basically is based on smart contracts. Now, when the condition occurs, the smart contract doesn't know that. Smart contracts are very smart, but they are quite stupid in a sense that they don't know that the condition has happened. So what we need to do, we need to trigger the smart contract. Okay? The way we trigger in the world of blockchain is by sending a transaction. Now, we can do that. We can create a dashboard, and let's say if tomorrow morning you need my help with, activating your backup, I can send a transaction for you. But then you can ask, why should I trust Kirobo? And what happens if your server goes down? and what happens if I want to trick you or whatever.
Yeah.
So what we do is we create a community of activators that are going to activate all those different use cases for the users.
And that's what the Kirobo staking is.
That's the Kirobo token economy, at the end of the day, what it's going to be.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's something that we're actually revealing next week. We will reveal all the token economy, and people will understand the role of the token and how it basically fuels the entire ecosystem. So
Okay.
you have the activators from the community. You have community members who use the system, and basically it's the community sustaining each other and helping each other. And we're only the facilitators. And once we launch the system, our job is done for the most of it, right? We just need to make sure that it's running.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, and I think the answer to the question then is yes, you are building towards what the community holds and doing something that's quite revolutionary. I feel when you say that you've been able to patent some of the conditional transactions, that sounds really interesting. That sounds like that's really strong. Is that a global patent or?
It's we're working on a global patent right now. It's US based and in several other countries, but yeah, it's in the process.
Brilliant. Well, that sounds really fantastic. I mean, obviously, I have to apologize for the fact that my role is to play devil's advocate here and to try and push on some of the questions that people may ask when they're reading or watching, depending on which media form they're on. But it seems like a very interesting project. You've got a decent backing and funding from what I've heard. You've decided to be completely transparent with the team members. That's not always the case with DeFi. Do you feel that's important?
Yeah, I feel it's very important. I feel that people need to know, again, in a trustless environment, you trust the technology, right? But it's all nice and romantic, but you still need to know who are the people behind the technology. You need to know, what's their background. Um, just to give you an example, I was asked on one of the AMAs, "Is it your day job, or is it like just something that you do on the side?"
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an important question, right? You need to
Yeah.
know that the people that are creating this project are doing their best. Obviously, we all have mistakes, and but we're doing our best to create the best infrastructure, and we're very proud of it. So we, are not ashamed to put our faces on it.
That's absolutely fantastic, Michael. Well, thanks for being here today. I think that's really